damn it! Okay, so they didn't show us the Sasha cards, and I was gonna cover them today, but they did show us a card that they skipped originally in the Japanese website, and they showed us, I think, today, actually. So what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna cover the Sasha cards because they might give us the official translations for it on the Bushiroad website, the English one at least. So let's talk about some Bushiroad news. We do have a new Love Life group. And I can already tell who's going to steal the show. It's most likely going to be her. But yeah, let's talk about some cards. Here we have the Beast Titan. He's a 3/2 blue Titan character with 2 abilities. His first is that on play from the hand, he does heal. And the climax combo is pay 1 and you ditch a Predation Titan, which is one that I did mention in one of my last videos. You could ditch a Predation Titan from your hand to the waiting room, and when this card attacks and the Climax Sentience is in your Climax area and you have another Titan character, you may pay the cost, and then you deal 4 damage to your opponent. So here's the Climax. It is 1,000 plus a soul and a book when you trigger it. So its base soul is 2, along with the Climax would be 3, and you might trigger something, you probably might not, so let's just assume it's 3. Let's just assume it's 3 just to be safe. Then if you do have another Titan, ditch the Predation, pay 1, you deal 4 damage to your opponent. So this isn't 2 separate blocks. The attack is 1 block, the burn damage is another block. So if the attack gets cancelled, the burn might not get cancelled, or if the attack goes through, the burn might get cancelled, or in the best situation, it all sticks and your opponent loses. It's a game of chance. There's actually a lot of conditions to this card. The fact that you need another Titan on the field to get the effect off, it's not that bad. You can have back row support and those count towards it. It doesn't say that it needs to be on the center field. The pay 1 could be an issue because this is a pay 2 and it is at a level 3 where you're going to start getting a lot higher cost effects and characters off, but that one might not also be an issue. What could be the issue is having the Predation Titan in your hand to ditch. But there is this card that I did cover in the last video that could get a Predation Titan back into your hand, but it is a Brainstorm and you have to hit a Climax. It still might be cool to pull off. So here we have Seize to Freedom Armin. He is a 0/0 Yellow Corpse weapon character. His first effect is that if you have 5 or more cards in your hand, he gets plus 2,000 power. So it's a plus 3,500 for no cost. His other effect is at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you may move this card to an open middle position on your center stage. So it is a runner and you are limited to the middle position of the center stage. Huh. You know, it actually doesn't say that it needs to be on the center stage for it to be a runner. So I'm pretty sure this counts as it being in your backstage as well. So you can have this in your backstage and then, surprise! Now you have an Armin in the middle position of your center stage. Here we have Pastorinki. He's a 0/0 traitless green character. Pay 1 and on play from your hand, you can get in the wall from your waiting room and return it to your hand. We'll get to that card in a bit. His other effect is at the beginning of the main phase, you send the top card of your deck to the waiting room. If that is a level 1 or higher, you send this card to your waiting room. His salvage effect is good, but it's not even like that strong to even warrant having that second effect. This card's not broken like at all. Well, let's see what In the Wall is. So it is a 2/1 blue backup, and I'm going to read this verbatim so there is no confusion. Look up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 3 cards among them and then put them in your waiting room. Put the rest in your deck and then shuffle your deck. Wow, that's a shitty card. I'm just kidding. This is the kind of card that I like to think that separates the Yu-Gi-Oh players from the men. Why is this effect the thing? Well, I'll try to explain it in a certain scenario. So your opponent attacks. You play this in response. Your effect pops off first. You check 3 and then you toss anything that is not a Climax, and then you shuffle that Climax back into your deck, or if you didn't pull a Climax, you ditch everything. You shuffle your deck and then damage calculation starts. Do you kinda get it? This card gets rid of potential damage that is in your deck. If your deck is thinned out enough, like let's say like you have a low amount of cards and you know you have at least 2 or 3 Climaxes, like let's say you have 10 cards in your deck. You know you have at least 2 Climaxes. So out of the 10, that means there's 8 potential damage. And then by playing this card, let's say you reveal no Climaxes, you get rid of the 3 cards, and now you know that you're guaranteed to have at least 2 Climaxes in the 5 cards of your deck. So there's a really, really good chance that the damage will get cancelled. Also, this isn't once per turn, so if you have 2 of these in your hand, you could use one for one Titan and then use the other one for the other Titan. This is pretty good for level 2. The other card that I know that does this is the Senjogahara card from the Bakemono series. It's a nice backup. It's pretty good. And here we have Steady Advanced Aaron Titan. He is a 2/1 Yellow Titan Corpse character. He has a Climax combo that it's okay. When it attacks, if you have the Climax Close Combat, which is a Yellow Stock Soul, you can look up to 2 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 2 level 1 or higher cards and put them in your hand. And the rest go into the waiting room. It's okay, I guess. It has to be a level 1 or higher. And at this point, you do need all the resources you could get, so, you know, it's decent. Its other ability is that it's an anti-change suicider, which means that if your opponent's character is higher than the level that they are currently on, that's what it is. It gets rid of that. The only difference is that it has a twist. On reverse, you can send that card to the top of your opponent's stock, and then send the bottom of their stock to the waiting room. It doesn't go straight into the waiting room where your opponent can salvage it again. It goes to the stock, so your opponent does have to kind of work around that. It is a slight annoyance. Here we have the last card. It's a 3/2 Embraced Memories Mikasa. She is a red corpse weapon character with 3 effects. Her first effect is that if you have Fate to Bear Aaron in your clock, this card gets -1 level in your hand. Holy shit, that is way too easy to get out. Its other effect is on play from the hand, it does get 1,500 power, so it does go up to 11,000, which is really good for a level 2. Its last effect is that on play from your hand, you get to look up to X cards from the top of your deck, where X is the number of corpse characters that you control. You get to choose 1 card among them, put it in your hand, and then send the rest into the waiting room. And it's any card, so that's really good. You could clock, draw 2, fill up your field, you know, make sure you clock, you know, this card. Get that early drop on, and then you top deck search 5, and you're good. Not only is it a pretty decent at a level 2 with that stat boost, you could only last for 1 turn, which is okay. Still 9,500 vanilla is pretty strong. That top deck search really does help you set up your level 3 game. And those are all the cards that we have today. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Weiss Schwarz news and content, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.